All right, what's up, fellas? Welcome to Friday. Mike, your mentor here. So, the purpose of these Fridays is going to be to walk through something that made a profound difference and change in my life. And that was, let me pull this up for you, going through this course, The Quest for Authentic Manhood by Robert Lewis. Uh, I can't say enough good things about this workbook and this course. It's ridiculous. It is a whole year course. Actually, no, this one is 24 weeks, excuse me. Or maybe it's 26. Yeah, 26 weeks. And you go through, and it's about an hour a day, if that's what you were to schedule yourself as. And you go through with this workbook, and there's a video. And this really helped me out at a point in my life where, man, I was struggling. I'd been married, I think at that time, for maybe a year, and I was just questioning everything that I thought I knew and had learned about being a man, being a husband, and it was just all coming to the forefront, and just things were happening so fast in my life, I didn't know what to do, and this church that I got invited to when I was living in Chicago, their men's group was just starting this. So I signed up, not really knowing what to expect, and the course, like I said, it changed my life. It gave me a lot of new perspectives on a lot of things, and it's awesome. So what we're going to be doing every Friday is we're going to be going through this. So I'm kind of just going to be hitting the high notes to teach you guys these things. And then we'll take each of those sections, which is about an hour long, and we'll just break those up. And I'll probably just do 2 weeks on each of the sections. I'll try to keep the videos around, maybe 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, content-wise. But we'll just get right into it. So I'm excited. So you can plan on this being posted to my page every single Friday. And the content in this is going to blow your mind. If you ever get a chance to go through this with your church, your small group, or you just want to do it on yourself, which me and some guys have done as well, I mean, it's that good. I highly recommend it. All of the stuff by Robert Lewis, the 33 videos. There's more than just this one. He's got 3 other workbooks and series to work through that all address things that are pertinent to men and things that they deal with on an everyday basis, and it gets you to think about those things in a way that you've never thought of or realized before in your life. So this is all his stuff, and I'm just gonna, hit the highs and teach a little bit from each section on that, and I hope that you guys enjoy that. But all credit to Robert Lewis for putting this together. So what this workbook, or what this expresses, and what we're going to talk about and focus on for the next year every Friday, are a couple of things. So here's the first thing. We're going to look at and try to answer the question, what makes a man, a real man? We're going to look at, how does one become a man? We're going to look at, is there a moment when this happens in your life, and how do you know? We're going to look at, what is it that holds men back from their true masculine destiny? We're also going to address, how should authentic manhood express itself today? These are all very extremely important questions, and especially in society in America, these aren't talked a lot about just because of the way that men are portrayed on TV, and to keep things in, and a lot of times not to go deeper, or we're just not taught this stuff. We're not, these aren't questions that a lot of people ask themselves, a lot of guys ask themselves, and it's kind of like, you don't know what you don't know. So my goal is to help you, look at these things in a different light, and then hopefully that brings some great revelation to your life, and makes a difference, and changes, your relationships, changes your marriage, changes the dynamics that you have with your kids and with your co-workers, and just the people around you, and just makes you a better person. So I'm excited. It's really awesome. So I guess after these questions, and this is kind of like a little precursor to the course. Next week we'll get more in depth with some stuff But here's what I want to talk about next. Right, so we got to look at what the state of manhood currently is and how it currently exists in today's culture. And I don't think that you disagree with any of these things. It's pretty obvious that manhood's in a state of confusion, right? We look around the world, we see everything that's going on in the news and stuff, and it's crazy out there. And that is a direct correlation to men not fulfilling their roles that they've been given and that they've been placed in, whether that's in the family, whether that's in society, whether that's in the workplace. That responsibility falls on us. It may not, all of it may not fall on us, but a big part of it does fall on us. And for years, we've not stepped up to the plate as a whole. And that's got to change. If we want to change our world, if we want to change our families, if we want to change our communities, it starts right here with us. Taking a good look in the mirror at yourself and saying, okay, I can't fix everything else that's going on, but I can be responsible for this guy right here. And I'm going to be serious about doing something about it for 2019. So the next thing is that confused men create major problems. So I want to share a couple of statistics with you, and you can look these up yourself. They come from a lot of different places, but they're pretty much the same across the board, right? This stuff is scary. I mean, let's look at this. 85% of all youths in prison come from fatherless homes. It's 20 times the average. 85% of all children who show behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. It's 20 times the national average. 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes. It's 32 times the national average. 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. 5 times the average. And, the suicide rates, they're just escalating every single day, higher and higher and higher. They've never been higher than they currently are. In a world where we're more connected with Facebook and Instagram and all these social media platforms, people are feeling less connected. Because there's that no personal connection. There's, some people call Facebook fakebook because everyone just posts all the good stuff and it creates this world that's not real. Well, part of doing this course is to bring to the forefront some of the struggles that I've had and some of the reality that's taken place in my life and how I've been able to navigate that and overcome some of those challenges and obstacles and show that, real life is hard. There are hard times and you can get through it, and how do we do that? All right, so the next thing I got for you is 43% of children live without their father in America. And this was as of, this stat right here, this was as of, I believe, 2010, when the last census took place. So I'm sure that that's risen since then. Maybe it hasn't, but 43%. What's an acceptable percentage of children who should have to live without their fathers? Can you give me a number? I mean, to me, there is nothing that's acceptable. And it's a shame that we're at 43% or whereabouts. 86% of all violent crimes are committed by men. Guys, how can that be acceptable? And what are we going to do about it? It's time to change this stuff. Right? And that's what I'm committed to. And hopefully you'll be committed to that too. And it just starts right here. Like I said, looking in the mirror and being accountable for the person that you see, which is yourself. Right? And having a little self-efficacy, right? That's a fancy word for self-responsibility and determination to do something about it. You don't know how to do it? That's okay, right? We're going to figure this out. We're going to do it together. We're going to learn some things. You're going to take those, apply those to your life, and it's going to cause a ripple effect, all right? So the other thing about the state of confusion with all the things that our men are doing is, confused men settle for less. When you don't have a clear plan about what you want from your life or where you want to go in your life, if you don't have a clear plan about how you want to lead your family or what that should look like, what principles you live by, thanks everybody for those comments. Kind of a little distracting, but I appreciate it. So if you don't have principles that you want to live by, principles that you want to instill in your children on how they should live by, and you haven't thought through these things, then you're just passing through life. And you're not living up to your full potential as a man, as a husband, as a father. So these are some things that, we're going to work through and we're going to think about, that you're going to come up with on your own, that will help you to better yourself in all those areas. And people talk about leaving a legacy all the time, right? They want to leave a legacy. They want to leave a legacy, right? You want to leave a legacy? Change the people that are around you so that when you're dead and gone, they remember the stuff that you taught them and they live by that stuff. And then they go out into the world and they use that stuff to make it a better place. That's how you leave a legacy. The next thing is, there is no lofty vision of manhood today that is compelling to men. If you look around, what do men have to look up to? Where do we search? We look on TV, superheroes, right? With celebrities, entertainers, athletes. And I'm not saying that that's their fault. In society, we make such a big deal out of those things, right? But where are we going to look and say, you know what? That's attractive. That's what I want for my life. And I think that by going through this course and applying these things, we can become that person. And when other person look at us, they think and they stop and they go, well, there's something different about that guy. And I don't know what it is, but I like that. And I want that for my life. You're right, Grady, not a thing. So, the cool thing is about this course, right? So Robert Lewis, he's obviously a pastor. Well, maybe that's not obvious to you, but he was a pastor, right? So the Bible has helpful insights to all these questions. But the cool thing about this course, right? So if you're not religious, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to tune in on the Fridays because he's just going to thump the Bible at me. That's not what this is about at all, I promise you, right? You're going to be looking at your own life, about what it means to be a man, about all those things we talked about before. How can you make a difference in your family? How can you make a difference in your community? How can you make a difference at your place of work? And sure, we're going to draw on lessons from the Bible and how they can pertain and the wisdom that is there. But this isn't going to be any Bible thumping, so you don't have to worry about none of that if you're not a believer. This is for all men. All right? So I'm excited for you guys to join this journey with me and to go on. So the schedule for next week, next Friday, to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about, is we're going to take a look at the history of manhood in America, right? Like, how did things start off? Like, where were we as a society where men were at home with their families, teaching their kids, interacting with their wives, to where we are today where the majority of men, they're gone. I mean, I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about emotionally, I'm talking about mentally. They could be there physically, but they might not be there mentally or emotionally. And they might not be there physically as well. But we're going to talk about how we've moved to that state. And I think it's going to be an interesting perspective on something that, is going to spark a couple of ideas in your head as we talk about that. So thanks for being with me tonight, this Friday, and tomorrow I'll be posting. Tomorrow is Shout Out Saturday, so I'm just going to recognize somebody in my life that's made a big difference in my life and how they've affected me, and just acknowledge them for that, because I think that's good to do, because you never know the things that people do, or I don't think that people realize the little things that they do in other people's lives that can make a big difference. So, yeah, that's it. So, hope you guys enjoy this video. Like it, share it, subscribe to my channel if you're new here, because we're going places in 2019. And I'm going to help you reach a new level in your life, in your marriage, in your relationships, and in and in this thing called manhood, whatever that looks like to you. All right? So take care. We'll see you guys later.